Brain Vision Painting Techniques 3. The 3 Steps of Seeing. We saw large animals, and if they were tigers, we had to flee. The brain must store the image of the tiger before it knows it is a tiger. The reflected light of the tiger is received by the eye and is given to the brain to construct a virtual reality. The virtual reality is dynamic, with 28 frames per second. Each picture has a delicate color change and needs to process a lot of information. The brain needs to store images of many animals and scenes in order to recognize the surrounding environment. The virtual reality has a lot of information and cannot be stored directly in brain cells. Thus, the brain extracts the feature pattern from the virtual reality and stores only the feature pattern. The feature pattern stored in the brain cells is a memory pattern. We see animals or scene, and first construct a virtual reality. Then, extract the feature pattern from the virtual reality. Finally, use the feature pattern to compare the memory patterns. The memory pattern that matches the feature pattern is linked to an explanatory file to identify the animal or the scene. No matching memory pattern can be found. If necessary, the feature pattern is stored and linked to an explanation file. This is the 3 steps of seeing. 1. Construct a virtual reality. 2. Extract the feature pattern from the virtual reality. 3. Use the feature pattern to compare the memory patterns. The memory pattern that matches the feature pattern is linked to the interpretation file. In the process of seeing, we constantly repeat the 3 steps of seeing. In the process of seeing, the memory patterns and interpretation files are constantly updated. A friend who has not met for a long time, his feature pattern was moved to the bottom of the brain cells. When we meet, it takes a long time to recognize him. The memory capacity of the brain is limited. Friends who have not met for a long time and are not important, their feature patterns will be removed. When we meet, we cannot recognize them. There are many different formats for an interpret file: the name, feeling, or description of the memory pattern. Taking A as an example, A is a memory pattern that has different interpretations in different places. In the string, A is a letter. In the article, A stands for the first paragraph. Described as good or bad, A stands for the best. Influenced by education and life experience, the interpretation file of the memory pattern will vary from person to person. Using the 3 steps of seeing, we can clearly see the development of human painting, and clearly understand the painting style of each school.